Alright, on turn 53. So yeah, we actually got just kind of hammered by events this turn. But really, what we care about is there was a battle in Old Man Mountains. So let's take a look. So we brought everything, and he hung out. This looks like I don't think anything moved off. So yeah, it was everything that we discussed. So yeah, formation is a little ragged. Probably should have had this line of skeletons out in front. Sent the gargoyles in. Whoa boy, yeah, you can see a lot of those boulders. Those boulders do a lot of damage. That was Curse of Stones coming in. We got some air elementals that jumped in. Unfortunately, it looks like they jumped in and started attacking the army instead of messing with the Jarls, which is really kind of what I wanted. You can see one of them already, I think, has Soul Vortex up. Yeah, they probably jumped in here because like these guys are susceptible to shock. So, I mean, that's like a magnet for these air elementals, especially because like most of these guys are super resistant to shock damage. So like honestly, like kind of, I mean, it would have been nice if they maybe went after like this guy who's not so shock resistant, but yeah, I mean, these air elementals, they just can't resist. It's like, ooh, like a lot of hit points, and they're gonna be susceptible to my damage. So yeah, they went after the army instead of the the super combatants. So that's unfortunate. And then yeah, we did have a few bugs, but like not enough. The bugs are undisciplined, so they just kind of go all over. It looks like his formation is definitely getting pretty messed up by the air elementals, because we have some of these guys filtering forward, but some of them are still hanging out, trying to fight with the air elementals. Yeah, it does look like these guys are getting through their scripts though, unfortunately. And then let's see. Okay, so she's used up some of her gems. Yeah, and it looks like she does have poison resistance on herself. Okay, yeah, so this guy has poison resistance. So yeah, it looks like she casts some poison resistance. But it's not the army-wide one. Yeah, and there's somebody that got affected by Curse of Stones. Because yeah, there's a lot of units that didn't get it, which is great. And you can see poison's already starting to stack up on some of these guys, and I don't think she didn't get the Jarls either, so it went on to the army, and not even all the army. Yeah, this guy's the one with the Hydra skin armor. He's going to be a problem. But yeah, so I mean that's really good news, because yeah, I mean if she'd gotten it on the Jarls and they all had poison resistance, yeah, that'd be bad. But yeah, so yeah, our Vine Ogres are outstripping everybody, like Legions of Steel. I'm sure there's some Strength of Giants and such in there. There's the Blade Wind, from our Evo 4. That was Earth Meld right there. You can kind of see, it's kind of hard to tell because they're all dead now, but some leftover from the Earth Meld effects. And honestly, like the Blade Wind doing like decent damage. These guys' protection is like okay. But yeah, and then the Rimvetti, only protection 10. I think it's gone down. Yeah, it's only cold 1 right now. So kind of lucked out there, because I think this is the height of summer. I don't think I checked that last turn actually. We'll maybe double check after we watch this. Some Sleep Cloud, kind of missed with that one. You can see even with the eagle eyes and stuff, not perfect. He's throwing a little bit of banishment down on my skeletons. But yeah, we still have a lot of random garbage back here, I think. I'm not sure what these guys are fighting anymore. Oh wow, one of them can fly. I missed that. Alright, one of them, is this the flying guy? No, he just got up here. But yeah, and he's a hero. Oh yeah, okay, this is the guy with the attack and defense. That's through the roof. Yeah, I think but although the defense, yeah, is getting harassed down a lot. And starting to stack some poison on him. But yeah, I mean, he got fully buffed. I'm pretty sure these guys all got fully buffed. I don't know where the flying guy went. That could be bad. Oh, okay, there he is. Okay, good. He landed amongst our chaff. And our god is nearby too, which, I don't know. We'll see. Its attacks are not magical. Although I did give it this stone bird, which is magic damage, but not a lot. So I don't think that's really going to matter. And then, oops. This is an earth elemental here, a full-sized one, but yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to trample him, which is like the main thing. I mean, okay, he does a lot of damage, but it's mundane damage, and his attack skill isn't that great. So I mean, yeah, you really want these guys trampling, but you know, hey, I figured like, you know, if he could trample the Rimvetti, that would have been really good. Although, yeah, the Rimvetti, they're done. We chewed those up really effectively, actually. And then, yeah, now starting to work on his giants. Of course, you know, yeah, the Jarls. The Jarls are really what matters. Yeah, and so we've got a couple greatsword guys in here. Looks like, yeah, a few of them have made contact with this Jarl, although, see, it's like still not enough. Yeah, I mean, these guys are just so tough, and he's getting some repels off. That's like when he does this little animation, that a lot of that is like repels, because he can't normally attack that fast. So I'm sure if we checked... Ooh, his morale failed, though. Okay, yes, so that's really good. I don't know if we saw any panics coming down. So yeah, I don't know if his morale just failed. Did everybody's morale fail? No. Okay, because like sometimes like it might just be like an arm. Like his army was a big enough chunk of his health total that, you know, if we kill off and rout off enough of the army, it might just trigger like a general rout. But that has not happened, because there's still guys here that are, even though, you know, we have some routers, you know, not everybody has routed. So yeah, it's really, I think we lost. Yeah, that's really rough. That's this repel guy is really nasty, because, you know, he's able to prevent, you know, our greatswords from getting hits in, I think. And then yeah, they just went down to the soul vortex most likely. Although I don't know, we still have a couple. Maybe they just moved somewhere else. But yeah, they're getting away. Which, like, I don't know, probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. I don't know if we could actually kill them all. But, I mean, yeah, it does kind of hurt that, like, I don't know if we've gotten any of them. There's still this guy back here. Okay, he's routed as well. He must, I don't know, he's not quite asleep. Because, yeah, he has these flying shoes. So, flying guys usually, it's very difficult to prevent them from routing, because he's just going to, like, zoom up into the air. Right here. Yep, there he goes. So yeah, very difficult to prevent flyers from running away. You know, so yeah, and then there's this guy down here, but yeah, it's not looking like we're actually gonna get any of them. Although, I mean, you know, we wiped out the army like pretty handily. I don't think we took too many losses. You know, I mean, definitely like some skeletons, maybe some vine ogres. You know, maybe some of our mages. And I don't know what this guy. Oh lordy. This poor guy. Yeah, he joined up. I don't know why he's with, you know, the ice giants, but he's cold-blooded, so, like, he does not like, you know, fighting in cold provinces or, like, being near a bunch of, like, frost giants with cold auras. So, like, yeah, he is super asleep, and he is probably not long for this world, because, you know, our skeletons are going to make quick work of him. Just falling asleep, yeah. Oh, it does look like he has some regeneration. Yeah. Oh, because he's sacred, so he gets the advantage of the bless. So, I mean, oh, no, yeah, there he went. So we got him at least. Ooh, hang on, what happened here? Oh, this is the guy that, he doesn't have a lot of shock resistance, and you can see, oh, wait, shit. He's twice born. Okay, this does matter, but not for right now. Anyway, sorry, so many status things. So he's stunned. From some probably, yeah, this air elemental here. So again, just, you know, air damage, like even with that 5 shock resistance, it's just not enough. So yeah, you really kind of got to stack on, like, honestly, anything under 15 shock resistance, like 10 is okay. 15, you know, you're starting to feel a little more safe, although honestly, like, you really, not until you start hitting, like, I don't know, 25, 30, that's when you're really kind of, I wouldn't even then say completely immune, but you're pretty darn safe, you know, at 25 or 30. But yeah, with just 5 here, you can see just like one air elemental, and now this guy's life is in danger because we have a greatsword guy up here. Well, yeah, and he's getting some hits in. He's moving again. Dang it. You know, the stun doesn't last forever. He just wiped out somebody that was in his way. Although, I don't know, we're getting a surround on him again. Not quite. All right, yeah, I think he got away. Dang it. But still, I mean, okay. So, I mean, it was a win. Let's take a look. So, yeah, we had some losses. We found a bunch of our own gear, as per normal, back to our standard, operating procedures. So, yeah, I mean, losing 3 of these guys definitely hurts. And then we lost 5 warrior smiths. I mean, we have a lot, right? But I mean, this is still like most of our mages, really. So I mean, yeah, losing 8 mages really hurts. And then we lost a ton of long dead. I mean, we have a bunch more, but yeah, I mean, this is still like, we don't have a lot of death gems left. Lost all the gargoyles. Didn't lose too much of this other chaff. They're pretty slow, so it takes them a while to get up. And then yeah, we didn't kill any jarls. So yeah, I mean, we killed all the hurlers, most of the warriors. The Rimvetti is going to hurt for sure, because those are summons, so that's gems that are burned now for him, and he lost basically all of them. And so our fort is safe now, right? Like, he's not going to be able to crack it with what's left. So this is definitely a blow, but yeah, I don't know. Compared to like some of the wins we were getting before, we were actually killing jarls and not losing too much. Like, this is not so great. Like, we can't keep doing this. If we're not killing jarls, like, I mean, I'm sure he's recruiting more and building more gear for him. So I mean, more jarls are being created. And if we're not killing them and we're losing stuff, then we're kind of losing. And then the other thing too is that Twiceborn. So that doesn't really matter for the battle itself. But it will matter for the war at large. So it doesn't look like most of these guys. Okay, yeah, so here it is, this Twiceborn. So it's a death spell, it takes death gems, it's a ritual, you got to cast it on the strategic map. But when they die, they come back like as an undead white. And different units come back as different like white chassis. So I think these guys will come back as like white giants, which are pretty cool. I mean, they're undead, so there's some disadvantages there, but then I mean, they're undead, so there's also some advantages. So it's really a trade-off. It kind of depends. They don't take upkeep anymore, which is cool, like no gold. And I mean, you get them back with this spell. They come back as like full spellcasters. So any paths that they had, they'll still have. He won't have any of his gear, so I'll have to re-gear him. But yeah, he's gonna get this guy back. I mean, if we'd killed him, which we did not. I think they might even, there's still a hero. I think I don't actually know. As the white. So anyway, yeah, that kind of sucks to see. But he only had like the one Twiceborn, although if he has the death gems, he could start Twiceborning more of these guys. So anyway, yeah, not as good, but still a win. And then we had some raiding, which was successful. And then of course, we were getting some independence off one of our other forts. And then some more successful raiding here, and then just we got attacked a lot by independents. However, he did not attack out. Yeah, he didn't break the siege here. He didn't take this, with any of his. I think this is. Oh no, this is a random giant. But yeah, he didn't take it with his capital force. And so you can see that army had no retreat paths. So, this victory that was looking, I mean, this was not great, right? But now it just turned into just a stunning victory, right? It's like we actually killed all of these jarls, which is just huge. Like I don't know if we could have done that, without this retreat trick. I mean, like we have been legitimately killing jarls with our greatsword guys, but I mean, he's got a couple in this fort and then like 3 more, here in his capital, and he's going to be producing more, and then all 6 of those would have survived. I mean, that's just a lot of jarls, at the rate that we were trading. I don't know if we could have done it, but like with this victory, this is huge, right? I mean, that cuts the number of jarls that he had, at least that we know of, I think, because I think there was 3 in here. I actually forget. I'll go back and look, but yeah, I mean, it cuts the number in half roughly. So like that's massive. So yeah, cutting off retreat paths, if you can do it, you don't even have to be stealthy, depending on the situation. it's really powerful. And then, conversely, like if you're attacking, it's really important to make sure that you have retreat paths open. And then, especially if you're fighting stealthy guys, it honestly might be worth like leaving a force, to your rear, that's just hanging out and patrolling, like just to keep that clear. Now, I mean, of course, also just win, right? So I mean, if you hadn't had the morale failure, and you'd been able to win the battle, then all the retreat path cutting, it wouldn't have mattered. So I mean, that's the other option, right? You don't necessarily have to keep your retreat path open if you're just like, yeah, whatever, you hang out, you attack me back there, I'm just gonna win this main battle and take your fort and like whatever. So if you're confident enough in your doom stack, you don't necessarily have to worry about your retreat paths. But yeah, definitely personally for me, I know I always try to make it very difficult for the enemy to cut them off. I mean, that said, with the stealthy guys, if you're up against stealthy guys, it can be hard to do because it's like you just don't know where they are, and they can strike all over the place. So but anyway, something to keep in mind. So yeah, that was a huge win. So we're moving out. We're still sieging here technically, with just like sort of a skeleton crew. And you can see, like, yeah, you don't want to be seeing this message usually, right? So they're repairing the fort. So you can, even when you're under siege, like, if the situation changes to where, before the attacker was able to deal damage, and so there's damage on the fort walls, but then for whatever reason, right, you pull troops off, or maybe they, you have a battle on the fort that the, siegers win but take a lot of losses, the defenders can actually start to like repair the walls like back up from where they were, even though they're under siege still. So anyway, so they're repairing damage right now, so that's not good. But the fort is still under siege, so we still have at least some of our work on there, and then we're moving everybody, well, a lot of people, in to finish this siege, and then honestly, like probably assault and take this. I was, if I'm remembering right, I was very tempted to just like try to immediately go attack his capital, which, like, yeah, arguably maybe that would have been the better play. However, right, I just had the discussion about retreat paths and everything. I don't know if I have enough forces to like actually keep this lockdown, right? Because again, they're starting to repair the walls, so there's stuff in here, including Jarls. So he could break out, and then if I try to like move my army onto his capital, and then he breaks out, and I mean he could do the same thing to me, where he cuts the retreat paths, right? Brings up, he has other armies and stuff. I don't see any Jarls down here, but yeah, there's another Jarl down here. There's none here, but I don't have full cover. I mean, it's pretty unlikely that he's just got like random Jarls like hanging out in these provinces, because he's fighting too. But it's possible. So anyway, he could bring forces up to reinforce, and have a battle on his capital, with my sieging force. And if I don't win that, and then he's able to use forces from this fort to like cut off my retreat, I could be looking at the same thing. And like, while he has other forces, again, I really don't. This is kind of it. So I mean, yeah, it's just the advantage of like going immediately onto his capital is that he can those Jarls are capital recruitment only, right? So if I like sit on his fort, then he can't recruit him anymore, so he can't replace those losses. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made to just go, super aggressive and just immediately go for his cap. And honestly, maybe I should be trying to like take some of my normal troops. Like, he probably isn't patrolling with a lot of this, because you never know. And like, those Jarls are mages, so they can also research. So to just have him patrolling just on the off chance that there's going to be raiders, like, he probably isn't patrolling with a lot of this. And I mean, the fact that I've been able to keep a scout on here also indicates that, like, yeah, probably not a lot of patrolling. So like, honestly, I maybe should have combined up some of my raiding forces to just jump on top of his capital, kill the PD, and then honestly just get off of it, and then just like keep giving it a shot, like periodically, to sort of force him to patrol, and then just be annoying. And even if you lock it down for like one turn, the Jarls, I'm pretty sure, are slow to recruit. Let's take a look. Loki. I hope they are. Yeah, okay, so they are. So, if you can interrupt, the recruitment of even one of these Jarls, that's a lot of time that you're buying. So yeah, I don't really do that, at least not yet. But yeah, maybe in retrospect, should have taken more of my human troops that are less useful in these, big battles with all soul vortex, instead of like just raiding random provinces, like combine them up, jump on his capital. But anyway, I'm going for this throne. So it's the Throne of Death, which is a mixed bag. So, I mean, most of the thrones, maybe all of the thrones, spread your dominion, which will be nice because, as I discussed before, like, dominion is starting to look a little ragged. So, it's always nice to get some of your dominion spread generally, assuming you haven't tanked your scales for, like, a really strong bless. But we haven't, so that'll be nice. But your dominion gets death, it's pretty bad. That's bad. Like, for instance, I don't think that Niflheim has claimed this throne, even though he has a fort on top of it. Yeah, so he claimed the Throne of Knowledge. He has not claimed the Throne of Death, right? Because growth is really important. It's going to give you a lot more income. Your income is tied to your population, so when you're getting like good growth scales like this, you're going to be getting a lot more money by the end game. Like, growth is probably one of, if not the most important income scales, and I didn't even take full growth, because honestly, my build not fantastic, and I was pretty worried, because I knew this was going to be a tight map, with a lot of people very close. So I definitely made some sacrifices, to get an Awake Expander that was going to be pretty effective, which. Yeah, didn't super pay off, as we've seen from how this game went, but it could have paid off. I don't know. Yeah, definitely probably wouldn't play this particular build again on EA Ulm, but, hey, this is my first solo multiplayer game, so it's okay. Make mistakes. We're still alive. It's, turned 53, and we just won a huge battle. So, but anyway, yeah, so our scales, like, aren't fantastic. We don't have full growth already. So yeah, claiming this is like, yeah, but then it also gives you 5 death gems a turn, which is really big. That's a lot of death gems, and we can use death gems, especially like combined with this entrance with the conjuration bonus. We're planning on summoning like those specters and maybe eventually like wraith lords, and like our death income, like that would double our death income, every turn. So I think at this point, like, I hadn't really decided whether or not, I wanted to claim this throne, possibly. But, like, obviously thrones is how you win, so taking it, it's definitely an important province to take. He's got a temple in here. I know there's, Jarls and soldiers in here, so I need to get rid of this fort because I don't want it in, in my back line as I look, to maybe push into the rest of his empire. So we're headed for it, and, we're gonna try to take it. And then just a ton of this is a good one, so the forest is attacking us, and then they came out and attacked. Some more fertility stuff left over, probably. More stuff from the forest. Vinemen devouring people, barbarians, of course, a classic. Misfortune. And I think I hadn't managed to put any province defense in here. Where was this? But this is our fort. Not sure. Guess maybe we pushed him off. Okay, yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, we were getting rid of. Okay, yeah. This is where we got rid of some independents that were already besieging this fort. I think this went pretty well. And then we got attacked again. But it's okay because we had these troops here getting rid of the other independents. So I'm gonna put this in the win column. Especially when we did win. So yeah, so this fort is free. That's nice. But then we got a couple other attacks. Some Earth Gnome attacked us, and our minimal PD got rid of them. Their Earth Gnomes aren't. I don't know. They're not very good. But yeah. yeah, our other capital got besieged by Vinemen, and then barbarians, of course. They naturally took that. So anyway, we're sending this force that already got rid of 2 independent attackers down here to unlock this, because we're not getting income. I think it actually gets halved when you have a fort. So you actually like split it. So the besieger gets half of it. Well, I mean, the independents don't care about money. Yeah, Vinemen, they're not in it for the money. But anyway, yeah, we're not getting full income off that. We are in it for the money. So we're going to send them down and unlock this fort. And then, I don't know, there's a lot of barbarians. So I don't know if we're going to go like immediately into this. The cave will hurt them as well as us. But I guess we'll see how well we do with the Vinemen and like how reduced this army is. 28 maidens, that's probably enough, but I would prefer not to lose a bunch. So anyway, yeah, just always barbarians. So yeah, it's a big turn, a huge win. Cutting the retreat paths, absolutely critical. What is the research doing? Okay, yeah, still just working on 7. You can see our research has jumped back up again, compared to where it was. Still not quite up to the level that it was before the war started, and still pretty awful. But yeah, definitely peeling off some of these mages now to do some researching now that things are like a little less dire. Still need to keep the pressure up. Going to be doing some raiding. Yeah, we're moving through this mountain pass like I discussed before, which is great, just being annoying. So yeah, got to keep the pressure up, because I mean, this is a huge win, but like realistically, we haven't really actually inflicted much damage, on his overall like infrastructure, right? Like pretty much all of his forts are free, other than this one, which like because the other thing that this does is it just increases death, this throne of death. And that's like in this province, right? So this is what, right? Been seeing a lot of growth, right? Usually you want to see growth. You like seeing this. So yeah, if you see these skulls here, like that's not great, and like this province here as well, from this site, is getting this increasing death and the heat, which we discussed. But anyway, yeah, you don't want to see these skulls generally. Maybe if you're a pop kill nation, maybe you don't care as much. But anyway, yeah, so it reduces the population over time. So instead of like the population growing from growth, and if you have neutral growth scales, the population doesn't move, other than like events that are gonna like subtract population or occasionally add population. I don't know. I guess in dominions, if people don't have growth scales, they don't reproduce, or I don't know. Maybe there's too many deaths. You need growth scales. But yeah, so if you have death scales, the population just tanks over time, fairly quickly. Where is, so death to, yeah, so, minus 0.4% every turn. So it's going to, relatively quickly, and a lot of times, like, these places that have these sites, tend to start with, like, relatively low populations anyway. So anyway, like, this fort is, so, yeah, we have this fort of his under siege, but, like, this fort is here to defend the throne, so that somebody can't just come and take it right away, which is really important. You pretty much always want to fort thrones. Because yeah, otherwise, like, you're like, okay, I'm about to win, and then somebody like teleports onto your unforted throne and like cancel and captures it, and it's like, oh no, you don't win now. So if you have a fort on it, then you at least have time to react generally. But yeah, so he's not doing a lot. Like, this is not an important recruitment center for him. Like, I mean, he may not even have a lab here. So like, it's like, if he loses this, like, you never want to lose thrones, but kind of like whatever, in terms of like actually being able to produce troops and jarls and like whatever, like we haven't dealt any damage basically to his infrastructure. He's got another, fort. This is another throne. This is the one of knowledge, which is better, I think. I mean, it really depends. Always depends in dominions. But yeah, he gets like these sages out of it, who are astral mages. Not very low. I think they're just astral 1. But they're really good researchers. And I mean, hey, I would kill for astral 1. I would maybe go to war for astral 1. So yeah, it'd be really cool to get this. But we're along. We got to get through the capital before we can even think about this. But anyway, he has a lot of resources yet to draw off of, and he's got the global up, riches from beneath. So like this war is a long way from over, like a long way from over. But you know, this is a huge win. You know, now we can think about the offensive. So definitely a tipping point. So yeah, now it's turn 53.